All right, hello, hello. Never fails. I hit go and then like everything, all heck breaks loose. Girl was hungry. Girl didn't like what she got the first time. Thank you, Neuro. Appreciate that. I gotten that for you. I only had like a third of a cup of coffee left. It's gonna be one of those days. Um, yeah, one of the coaches on the team that I stepped away from. I told you guys that story before, so I won't bore you with the details of that one. But so he has his wife doing these things, and I'm like, hey, listen. He's like, oh, we got to put it on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, but you just sent me something that you know, love the woman. I really appreciate the help, and but it's at the end of the day, like if you post something there that it looks like it's homemade, like no one's going to sign up. Like you guys are hurting for people. You want extra people. If you put something up that looks like it's like paint shop from the 1990s, no one's going to sign up, guys. Come on, you know. I was like, I'm not a graphic designer. I was like, but it doesn't match anything else that we have on the page. So, I was like, I'll find time and I'll put something together later today. But it's, you're competing against other clubs that have like professional like SEO departments. Like I can't just put something that's the wrong colors for our, like you have our logo patched in there. I was like, but you have like all the wrong colors in there. Like it doesn't, like it just doesn't look good. So it's just, and like I don't want to sound like a jerk. Like I like her, I appreciate it, but it's like, listen, I'm not going to post that. Like, oh, well, you can just give her access and then she can do it. I'm like, no, I'm not giving up access either. That's, it's like all I need is like one person to be angry and then just blow up the thing. It's like, no, I like, I don't think you guys, I get it. You guys think that it's easy, but like, you're like, no one signed up yet. I'm like, yeah, no one signed up because they're not interested. It's like, I don't really know any other way to say it. Like, you guys have this impression of what you think you have, and it's not real. Like it's great that you guys all believe this, but there was a reason I stepped away, and everybody knows I've stepped away at this point. So, um, yeah, neuro. It's and that's kind of. I mean, it's very like two colors, and we have ours is our colors are navy blue, and they have royal blue on there, like almost like the blue of this like this color blue. I'm like, it's the wrong color blue, and then they have our logo on top that shows the right color blue, and then there's like they use that lighter color blue in the lettering, so you can't see it against a white background, and then they sent it to me, and like on the right hand side, like over here, there's like an arrow, right? Um, that looks like you're gonna swipe to the right like they looks like they screenshotted it, and there was like another picture, like the swipe to the right. I'm like, I'm not going to put that up there. It's like giving me an arrow to the right side. Like that's on the picture. There's like, I can't put that up. So, no, it's not even. Yeah, it's not about. No, I mean, I'm going to turn it into two colors. I'll use our typical jersey colors. But it's like, I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm not. You guys expect people to do that. Like, I'm gonna, I don't know. And like, if it, honestly, the words they have on, they're like, "Oh, we're going to be doing evaluations all fall for these five positions." It's like, guys, you sound really desperate at this point. Like, if I was a parent looking at this, it's like, "Oh, all these things. Oh, it's great. They're going to take people all year." But wow, they need a lot of positions. Like, I don't know. I think the best way to do it is to reach out and when you find people, go out there directly and talk to them. Yeah, kind of like the yeah, kind of. It is like a swipe right thing. Yeah, yeah. But I'm like at this point, teams are pretty much locked in. Like there are some out there, and there are programs out there. Like they wanted to be the first ones to have tryouts, but now they don't have enough kids, and it's like there's other programs out there. Like if you haven't found a home, we'll take everybody. And those kids have gotten swallowed up, and I don't know. I mean, like obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have 27 on my team, and they can't get past 18, and they don't even have like defenders. They don't have a full set of defenders yet, and no face-off guy, and you know, so it's like one of those like, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I was like, my team is I have 7 kids over what I need, so I'm building 2 out of my group. Yeah, but like I feel bad. Like I don't want to call the guy and be like, hey, your wife's thing, it's bad, but it's bad, you know. And it's like they sent him to this weekend, like, yeah, you got it this weekend. I'm like, yeah, but my wife was in the hospital, and honestly, posting your thing that's really really bad was like the least of my problems this weekend. Like, my wife's been admitted to the hospital for 4 days. I don't care. Like, just gonna put it bluntly, guys. That's not my main priority. My wife and my unborn child was. So, sorry. You can send me more messages. I'm not doing it. And I have control over the platform. So, yeah, I'm not giving the control of the platform up because I have a lot more there. So, I'll be that guy, especially with no sleep and a third a cup of coffee. Anyway, with that said, actually not a bad Monday morning worth of movement. The pound obviously getting a bunch of strength out of there. Could it be from the manufacturing numbers? It could be. Again, the manufacturing is kind of more the leading, the services kind of more where you're at. Services down. And again, a little bit of COVID shutdown. Not surprised with that one. But 78 and 105 is great. Euro pound down, -5. It was more. It's actually retracing in the last like 15 minutes or so. Um, decent movement on that one. Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec, guys. We'll call you in 3 minutes. Um, Hold on one sec. All right, there we go. Like I said, it's kind of like Brian's on a webinar. There we go. Um, Pfizer grants. Oh, this just came through that Pfizer's vaccine becomes first to win FDA's full approval, paving the way for boosters and mandates. Okay. Now, what I want to know is, do you still have to sign that thing that says, can they be sued if it is bad? I don't see it in there. But with the FDA approving it, now if they continue to have that mandate in there, it means that people can now sue the FDA because it is approved by the FDA. There we go. It's America. We got to sue everybody. I like to be a fly on the wall for that conversation with the wife. No, I mean, like I said, I like her a lot. Like I said, she's a really nice lady. Definitely I appreciate the help. I'll use her design. Coming up with the design is very very helpful. But like she has the same program that I do, and I've seen her work with other things. Like she has her own business, and my wife's like, oh, I've seen her other stuff. Like she absolutely has the same program that I have, right? But you know, and like I said, the people they're competing with, you can see theirs, and they're very professionally done. And I'm definitely not a graphic designer. I was like, but I don't think I do a horrible job on these things too. So, and if they're pissed at me, they're pissed at me. At this stage, I'm like, whatever. I just don't, whatever. I can't help you. I can't help you, but I'm not going to let the quality go down because you threw something together in 30 seconds and then took a screenshot and then sent it to your husband, and then it has an arrow on the right hand side and like just doesn't look good. Like I can't, you know, sorry if you get if you get mad about that, then you get mad. I can't, like, sorry. Like, I'm glad that you guys are doing so much work this year. You gave me absolutely zero help the last 2 years. So I'm glad you're working really, really hard this year. But sorry, not sorry. Anyway, so dollar cat is becoming the big mover. We all knew that was happening once oil burst. You knew that was going to go through the roof. So that's a biggie. Tomorrow, there's really nothing out there, so we don't have to worry about any kind of major moves tomorrow morning with news. And like I said, I expect probably most of the movement today, maybe some tomorrow in European session, and then I expect it to die out because again, this Jackson Hole symposium, kind of a big deal, right? 3 day, conference. We'll see. There'll be some things in there. I mean, there'll be some movement. Like this preliminary GDP number is kind of setting us up for a failure. Um, Projecting higher at 6.6, and again, could be good. Aussie retail sales down is another one. Again, Powell speaking. This price index again going to point 0.3, still positive, but it's getting lower. Again, seeing gold go crazy this week. If this is even, I mean, if this is the disappointment at all, Powell's going to be like, hey, and this is why he's talking. He's going to be like, I told you so, transient. It's all disappearing, right? So again, God forbid this comes back negative on a monthly basis, but it'll be off to the races. So as far as the week goes, it's a pretty decent kind of move here. So, oh, look at that. NQ is punching through. All right. So let's start off with the currencies. All right. So these are from last week. So I haven't really moved any of the draws. We had this one level. And again, there was a couple, we talked about, kind of some short duration sells in here at 71.56. And you can see it touched it. It came back, it touched it again and continued to push lower. The overall trend on this one is once we establish a base here, though, we had the trend reversal, particularly over the weekend, which kicks in right here. We had that kind of opening in a level. So again, these two areas don't necessarily matter as much. And again, same thing. Actually, I guess, you can see that actually punched through, came back, and was a launching point for this morning. So again, all the normal things. Looking to the left right now, I wouldn't say there's a whole lot in there. There's a little bit of a basing here at 72.04. It's an all right level. It was a midnight based level, so not ideally, kind of the best there. I would say, watch out for this 72.21 level. It technically was kind of an area that we had to break. We had 4 touches at base, kind of, and then a break, and it kind of pushed high. Um, hmm, do we want to take it from there or go higher? Um, this is out from last week. The short's there. I would actually. Hmm, that's a hard one because you got that spike coming through. Hmm. What I would do is I would look to see if we get a oops, if we get a color change in there. I think there could be something there. And again, that's off the old level. I may actually. How big is that? Let me see. It's 5. Full base is 10. So there's a base right here. And again, we're not close to it now, but it's obviously a level that sellers have stepped in the past. There is a level we can draw it with a base, even though the green candle punched through the top of it. Kind of wondering again, this yellow, I'll take it off just so we don't confuse people on it. But this yellow was an old kind of area of interest. And again, we used it for a short to the downside. It's probably going to have some movement. Could it get front run? Short could. But right now, as far as where we could really see sellers step back, and again, there's a small level here, but really nothing till much, much higher. So, I guess we could use that one, the 72.32, right? So, again, it's kind of one of those things. It's like, man, there's just not really a great level to the top side on the 30-minute. We are in the green area, so we're looking for more longs than anything else. Obviously, there's an old area interest up here at 72.90, as well as, again, the yellow here would be that area of interest from before, but I mean, this one can be adjusted up a bit. And again, more in touch with what the current reality has been. This level of basing, we got to use the red wick basing across drop and then drop again. So I would say that this is another potential level right there. Okay. Um. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not bad. All right. Let's see also again if I got anything better there. Nah, just that same profit level up top, and this one's already starting to turn. You can see this one touched, made about 2/3 of the way through from last week, so we'll remove that. We got a larger time frame level at 77.71 to 77.34. Again, this one went over the weekend. You can see how much time it spent there, but we'll remove it. Yeah, there's the opening right there. Some nice longs last night. Unfortunately, I tried to get back for the Sunday night gaps last night, but that's when Melissa was getting her shots and all that kind of stuff. So I had to be pulled away. Like I was like, all right, I think I can do it. She's like, no. Actually, she wanted chips, and her work laptop was like I was getting yelled at. So I was like, fine, I'll come now. And then she's like, you could have stayed. I'm like, no, you're yelling at me. I was the angry husband yesterday. Just FYI. Mark bottom. Uh, the bottom here. How big is that? Actually, I should say not anger. I was the pouty husband. I was like, fine, I'll do it. You want anything else? Anything else I can get you? And just so you guys understand what I'm saying, I had to walk in with 3 bags of potato chips. There was all dress ones because she's Canadian. There was barbecue ones, and Lay's has 5 different varieties of barbecue chips. Just so you guys know, 5 different varieties. Um, and then the lightly salted original, right? The classic ones, like just the normal chips. So I had to smuggle those in, and she wanted Skittles, so I bought her a bag of Skittles from like the candy aisle. So it's not like it's like the resealable bag. It's not the other one. She's like, "This is enough Skittles for a month." I'm like, "Yeah, but if I bought you a little one, you would have been mad." So I was just covering all my bases, and I was like, "And once Jen finds out that you have Skittles, I'm pretty sure she'll help you finish it. If we have extra Skittles, I don't think that's a problem. But like, God forbid, I didn't bring enough Skittles, right?" But then she gets out of the hospital bed, grabs the bags of potato chips, and starts shoving. She's like, "I don't want him to think I'm like a fatty." I'm like, "Oh, so you're hiding the potato chips that you just made me walk in with?" Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I had to deal with. Um, but that's why I was the bitter, the grouchy husband yesterday. I was like, "All right, I'm." And I told her, like, she's like, "Don't do laundry." I was like, "Yeah, we have a lot of laundry. Like the way Melissa does it is she puts it in piles." I was like, "Yeah, I have to fold all this laundry." She's like, "Don't fold it all. I feel bad." I was like, "Oh, I know. I want you to feel bad, but you're also not allowed to do it when you get home." I was like, "If I don't do it like you're telling me to do, you'll do it because you feel like you need to, and then you'll go into labor. So I have to do it." so so it's now she's telling me she's like, I promise I'll be nicer when I come home. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, sure. But Debbie's over there going, she's not going to be nicer when she gets home, and I know she's not. I'm not stupid. I mean, this is kid number 4. I'm not dumb. Like I know how this works. She'll tell me not to do things, but then she'll feel guilty because I did do them, but she's not allowed medically to do them. So it's like a rock and a hard place. Like I have to do them, and she's like, she said something the other day. She's like, I feel like we're just we don't get along as well. I was like, Melissa, I was like, I'm dealing with a pregnant woman for 9 months that has been very moody. Like, what do you want? Like, I can't argue with you because you're pregnant, right? So I've just had to take it for like 9 months. So like, I was like, yeah, I was like, I'll get over it in the long run, you know. Um, but she's like, am I really that mean? I'm like, you have your moments. I was like, I was like, I make a comment that you're on your 4th popsicle today, and then you complain that like your stomach hurts, and I can't say anything because then it gets tied back to the fact that you've had 4 popsicles today. You know, it's like everything. Like you're judging me. I'm like, I'm not judging you, but I don't want you to get I don't want you to have a bellyache later. But this is your 4th popsicle set for the day. I'm pregnant. I'm like, I can't win. Like, there's no way to win. So yeah, that's if you guys are not married, this is what you're gonna have to deal with. Yeah. So yeah, I was like, it'll be good once the kid gets here. And she's mad because it's a boy. Like I had any control over that. I was like, ask your grandmother. What did your grandmother say? And she's like, my grandmother said I was gonna have a boy. I was like, well, then be pissed at your grandmother because it's her fault. Because she said you have it's all about balance. You had a girl, so now you're having a boy. She's like, yeah, but this is 3 boys and 1 girl we have now. I'm like, well, I can't control that. It's like different wife. Um, Anyway, Aussie, I would look at the 79.33 level. I like how that's where the takeoff point was. I like how there was a lot of buyers that stepped in here. I would watch this yellow area here. The reason why is because, again, we have our 1, 2, and 3 touches in there. I'll just draw them up here real quick. So it's an area that's been hit a lot, and there's a decent bit of movement, but there is a small little level of basing and a nice push down. So I don't know that's an area that we can do a whole lot with, unfortunately. And again, we have levels up top with it kind of rolling over right now. And again, this is U.S. traders coming in. And again, putting a decent top in. I actually do think that that top is pretty decent the way that it was drawn. Um, if again, this green pullback being not as high as if we break through the 78.81, I would say look for this to go and kind of start testing lower. Australia's data for the week does not look great. When you over here, retail sales expected to get worse and continuing to push down. So I do believe that right now this is purely a gold play, that this is getting drug up. But yeah, I would say I'm probably a bit more bearish right now with the news that we've seen and with the projections and forecast are. So I think that the market will adjust. But right now we're kind of like in a holding pattern. I would say watch out for that level right there. Right there, and there's our pink level. So that may give us something later. And again, it's it's a level that we're going to have some problems with. But right now, the fact that we've punched through that level, pushed up, and we're not really having that kind of grind higher. We just started the new candle, and it was kind of more of a neutral because it closed right in the middle of the body. So I'd say probably more bearish this one right now than anything else. So we'll see what we're able to do here if the sellers are going to find some ground, or if again, this one had that early turn in the morning. Euro pound. So Euro pound had 2 different nice little Harry Potters. Again, this one had a break of number 4, pulled down and rallied back up again. Did the same thing in that area of interest that fought it for a while, fought it again, finally based through, broke, based, and came back and touched it. We're approaching that level again. Now, is it an area that we can go long from? Typically for the Harry Potter trades, we're not as excited about them when they come through as a touch. Again, when it becomes violated, we typically take the first hit through. It's not normally something that we continue to maintain again and again and again and again, unless it had very nice basing with a strong push. It didn't. Now, do we take it back to the downside if we have a kind of a base in there? I would say in this scenario, there is a 3 here, which is a little bit up that I'd be kind of worried about. This one I'm not as concerned about, but we do have a bit of movement until we had some type of seller come in, but the reality is it's only 16 pips away, so it's not very, very far. At this point, I would probably be using the Euro pound more for kind of a telltale sign of what we should be doing with Aussie dollar. I'm sorry, not Aussie, Euro dollar, pound dollar. Right now, it's kind of like, ugh, I mean, it's going down. We saw this pound strength. The way we saw it last week was we'd have a day of pound strength and then a day of pound weakness. So welcome to the villain club. Beers in the fridge. Help yourself. Yeah, Neuro, exactly, right? Yeah, yeah, Neuro. In regards to that one, it's the same thing. We can be having a normal conversation like we were the other day, And when she wants to know something, she'll ask about like Asher and Reese because they were, being twins, they were on the smaller side, and like the wing that we're in right now, we were overflown into another area for Jin, so we weren't in this department. So she asked me questions about like where the family center is, so I can get her like snacks and Jello and stuff like that. But then I mentioned something about how we were in a room over there, and then then she turns into the devil and she's like, "I don't care about your last pregnancy. That wasn't me." And then she like rolls over with tears. I'm like, "You asked me 5 minutes ago about where the snacks were during that pregnancy, but when I talked about how the room was on the other side, so I'm not sure. Now you're mad about it. See, it's like the no-win situation, right?" But yes, she's been eating because she was on. She's been eating a ton of Jello and a ton of popsicles for 3 days. Um, she did have lasagna last night, so she was happy about that one and the new bed, which I told you guys about. But anyway, I would look for this one more as just kind of a gauge. Use it as more of an indicator right now. There's just not enough spaces back and forth again. That short was in from last week. We can remove that. We'll keep this one there as kind of like a watch out for it, but it's not really. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make. Actually, I'll use this one. I will change it to as a kind of a watch area. I would say the next real clean buying area is probably going to be down in this level right here, and we'll turn that one green, turn that one back down to this level. All right, is probably all the way down there. I don't really like any of this in here, and again, not really interested in taking that one as much. Okay. Euro yen. Now, Euro yen busted through, although it didn't go all the way up. It kind of made this weird turn, and there are some small candles there, but it's not a level that I would pick for a reversal. I think taking the 129.36 was better, but it has put a top in. It is my favorite shape candle for a top, so it is definitely something I think that needs to be marked off and kind of we watch for later on. It's been a clean pullback. It had its opportunity. It is not a red, green, red, but again, only because this one closed just slightly lower than where it opened. But it does give you that same kind of proxy feeling with that spike up candle there. Um, this is an area of interest. Again, you can see it based, it came up, it based again, and then use that as a takeoff point. Um, I would say right now, like I don't need this one. This one had a clean break of 4. So this would have been a decent long, right? Knowing that this would break because there's 4 there. But right now, the question is, let's see. Hmm. Actually, going to shrink this down here, and we'll turn that green. Much space is there? Let's see. It's about 26. It's about 37. So yeah, this one may be. Put that right there. It's a little bit far for that one, but I don't think that one's bad. So look for some basing. If we can get some basing in here, again, finding those buyers, I think that one would be a decent short. And again, it's basically just retracing what we saw in the overnight. It's more of a pound strength yen weakness. And again, I do think there is justification for the yen weakness right now. So yeah, I'd look for this one to drop. But again, get some basing on it. Right now, it's a little bit too deep. That is a good top up top, though. I do like that level. We'll keep an eye on this one. This 129.07. It's my favorite shape candle as far as kind of reversal levels go. And then again, we'll mark it. Again, this was kind of a decent turn piece. It wasn't original. This is the first hit of it, and it did spend some time down there. But I do think that's a decent run to the top. Let's look at euro dollar. So euro dollar, we kind of had an area here, and it basically turned the same exact spot. If I put a horizontal line, you guys can see it much better. Horizontal line sitting right there, you can see that those same sellers, and really here's the area. It's not an area that I am really interested in trading off of because it's so tiny in the middle of this. But again, it's turned it around twice right now. Um, and it's been kind of funny. It's disregarded the base and taken the wick over wick. And it's the same spot. Would I be looking for reversal there? Not really. I mean, it's been a 9:30 kind of session open, but it's such a tiny little level. We're talking about a 3.8 pip zone. It's now turned it away twice. So I'm looking at that probably, and again, we've been looking to go long from. Oops, I just wanted this right. At this point, I would be setting this up and looking for kind of the Harry Potter break of that level, the 117.45, and looking for that to travel all the way up to this 177. I'm sorry, 117.72 level. I mean, they're both there, right? They're both there. It's kind of like, man, that level will break. It's been touched twice. It's so tiny. I think if we can get some basing and we can get some type of and like I said, I don't know what the risk level is going to look like. I'm assuming probably like along those lines. I'll change this orange so you can see this different. Um, I needed the base so I can get risk. I'm not taking a 3 pip risk. It's how you get stopped out very, very fast. But I'm looking for a decent long from that level when we have kind of a retracement. Today, again, if the European market continues to collapse like we're seeing in the other two, or at least in the euro yen, obviously we push down. There's a few different levels down here. Um, we'll mark this level off because, again, it was a top and then again a top. So we expected it to break, and it did Harry Potter through and continue to go higher. It's a level we watch out for, but obviously this long or this short is done at this point. I would say, see, where are we willing to go? Um, right there. We're gonna put that as far as our kind of far side in that one. I'm gonna remove this now. We don't need that. We have a level there. 25. What, Jinjin? You want something different? Okay. If you want something different, hand it to me. Here, Daddy, do it. Oh, come here. Daddy can't go any farther. Hold on one sec, guys. He gets in like this, like the dark hole of YouTube, and then can't figure out how to get it to work. All right, sound is still good. Um, all right, so euro dollar, I would say again, if we get a break of 117.44, look for it to go up to 117.73. Um, besides that, I wouldn't go. I'm not really interested in any of the longs yet until we get a bit lower. Just clean longs. That color is the wrong color. You can tell. Pound yen. So pound yen, I'm looking for an area to get short. I had the two areas up top. I was looking for the push. It was in kind of this racetrack here on the 30 minute. I was looking for it to come up, and again, there was kind of your old area of interest. It had been touched. It had been pushed through. There was a little bit more of aggressive of an area that you could use pretty much. I guess you got to mark it right there. Would have been kind of the front run of that one. And again, more of an aggressive base and a very, very strong push to the downside. We didn't get close to it. I was kind of hoping for a bit more. I had that one on my radar as a potential trade setup. Um, right now, again, we have the red, we have the green, and again, it's trying to fight. This one's doing a little bit better of a job than the euro yen. But not really interested in, again, you can see the base here also kind of went at a wick over wick area right there. It's right at that wick over wick. So I like the area. Sellers have turned it around. If you really want to get something aggressive later on, or if we just kind of meander sideways, there could be something small in here that you could take. Um, but right now, kind of these are the three levels I'm looking for up top. Right, the 151.64. I'm looking for 151 again. This is a little bit more of aggressive. If you wanted to go a little bit higher to that other level, you could. But I like this. I like this push to the downside. That was a very, very strong push. 150 pips to the downside from that one. So big fan. Big fan of that. As far as buying, you guys know that I've been, bullish this one for a while. I would do the same thing, and we have the one level down south. I think here's a newer level that was established recently, so we can throw this one in. That level is coming in at approximately 149.34. Let's bring these all across. Again, this level's been tested once, kind of pierced through, but I'm still good with it. It's a 4 hour level. That's kind of what we're looking for right now. All right, pound dollar. So pound dollar. There was our short from last week that we talked about it going. Again, the 1 to 3 was a good level. So we'll remove that right now. It didn't do anything over here. So we'll remove that. We'll remove that, remove that. That level is still good. Neither one of those two was hit. Right. Actually, we'll just take those off right now. Let's see if I can get a cleaner. Like that level. Like that level still. This wick is screwing this one up a bit. I'm looking at this little hiccup right here. And that's what I'm kind of like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not really that high quality of a level. It did have this little kind of hiccup right here to it. Uh, just not, just not really a huge fan of it. Thinking right now, this is how we bracket it, top and bottom. Go. And again, just I don't like the way that level's formed. It wasn't really an explosive bit of movement out of there. Um, not really. Not, it's not really great. Here we'll turn it into like the watch out for it, but there's no trading. I think 137.86 and then 136.11 top and bottom. So dollar CAD. So dollar CAD's still pushing. Oil must be continuing to drop. Yes, oil is continuing to drop. The U.S. trader was like, "Oh, oil's going down. Let's do it." And again, this will continue to go down until oil finds a bottom or finds a top. Um, all this is great for the CAD. It's just finding that right opportunity to get in. Right now, the problem with the dollar CAD is it's not which the driving factor. It is obviously oil, and there's not really any like amazing, I mean, these are all just pretty grindy. The only time you have any type of a test and movement is from that level, but even then, it's not great. There's an old area of interest. There's a level of basing. I guess if we really wanted to draw something, you can draw something sitting like right in there, and that's not horrible. It was tested and it provided movement, but we got a lot of room to run to the downside on this one. So that's about another 100 pips of the downside. Um, Anything clear on a 4 hour that I'm missing? No, I mean that's really kind of it, right? Yeah, that's really kind of it. I would say that the first level of this one stops. So again, if you want to get, again, there's a decent base in there. I would say 337 is a huge move on a Monday. I'm trying to find a place to go long here because I do think oil does actually make some moves in the other direction, but I don't think we have it yet. I think once oil kind of puts a decent base in, you can come back to this one, and then again, the same thing that I drew earlier. Look for look for this, look for that. Once we have the basin, look for a green, red, green. Once we have a base in oil, or once oil is basing to start roll. Look for that. But right now, I don't have anything. This is, again, it's not a Canadian thing. It's an oil thing right now. So just cautious of that one. Dollar Swiss, again, this one's pretty choppy back and forth. We talked about a level here at 91.35. It hasn't hit it. It's been close. This one is still bracketed. I would say, at this point, I mean, we're really just on a channel, channeling sideways. I would say right now, yeah, this top is still clean. This top is still clean. This one's getting chopped up and it's running. It's hitting the buyers right in front of it. Um, again, every time it hits, it's kind of eroding this one. But again, there's a little base above this main base and then a base right above. So there's 3 levels of stability there. If this one does come through, it does have about 60 to run on the top side. But I think 190, 198, and 90.84 are my 2 favorite ones currently right now on the dollar Swiss. Dollar yen. So you can see dollar yen just ended up going up and coming up into that 110.15 range. It's a level that we had talked about last week. If anything, look for this one to come back down and look to get long. It missed it here by just a little tiny bit, but the 109.47. Um, we do know that the 110.20 to 110.36 is a larger time frame level, but based off of where the basing was here, this was more of the aggressive entry for the larger level, and that's ended up, 7:30. It just dropped to the downside. Right now, we're kind of smack in the middle. You can see a bit of a gap there, and kind of a gap low, and then went all the way back up to bring it. So, it's all right. I wouldn't be too, not super excited about that one right now. Let's go across and let's look at oil because that's what we're talking about. So we had a level here at 64.55 or 60. I'm sorry, 64.51. It was tested once. It ended up slicing through right at the open with no issues whatsoever. So it looks like today this is going to be kind of the up range. There was again, I picked on Todd. I was like, hey, listen, we got nothing close to 65.25. It ended up going above that. So that knockout is actually broken right now. There won't be another one for a dollar. But right now, instead of retracing back again, this one is continuing in the up direction. And it does happen. Again, most 4 out of 5 times during the week, it tends to do this reversal. Today, it looks like it's going to go higher. But looking to the left, and again, I can take this level out now. Again, that level did not hold. You can see if I move this across, the next time we really have kind of a decent level is all the way up there. And that's at 66, 63, right? That's kind of the next big time that we really have any type of a level coming in because I guess that's not true. I guess there is a little bit of a push here, although the highs on this one tended to get higher before it kind of rolled back over at 65.88. So I guess I guess watch that level right there. But for the most part, we really, until we have a real decent pullback and continued push effort to the downside that's like really clean and nice looking, like good form candles, these are just kind of wicks. This one has more room to run. So the question is, can we get all the way up there? Now, I do think a lot of this is positioning with everything about Delta and we've heard and just, worldwide demand and everything. Like I said, Chinese data not been great. Australian data not been great. We've kind of had some spreading of things like that. They did not raise interest rate in New Zealand. Kind of one of these things that it's like, hmm. And again, I think a lot of this was people were overly bearish. All the stories this weekend was like, when is oil going to stop going down? And I think that's really what caught a lot of people by surprise. So, if we get back up in a 66, 70-ish range, I think that's where we look to go short. But right now, again, I just, it's too late to get into the long. I would say look for profit targets at 65.84. Look for this one to come up top. And again, maybe get your profit a little bit before that. We know sellers will step into that range. But the next area where we really have some shorts is the 66, 62 area. But the 62, again, I talked about it in Nadex. We've been talking about this last week. We've been talking about this one for a while. I mean, look, it's been here forever, guys. And last week it got front run, and then again on Friday. Actually, I guess Friday it closed there and opened. This was an easy long in the overnight. So, um, and again, $3 move in the overnight. Yeah, it's a nice move. Nice move. But again, I think this one continues to push higher. Now, gold. Okay, so gold. I talked about some knockouts up here, right? For Nadex. That first knockout is sitting right here. Not a bad knockout if you got into it. It got pretty close, right? It got pretty close. Now, we've gotten the pullback on this one. I'm actually looking for it to go a little bit higher. And I'm curious to see, again, this one is it's kind of pulled back to this lower one here. I wasn't surprised that one broke. I was looking more for this 1800 and I wanted to see if we could hold on the pullback. We didn't necessarily hold, but again, at this 10:30 time frame, this is where it would start kicking in. Um, I want to see, and again, I'm not concerned that it's kind of wick lower. It is 10:30. If we can hold this pullback, and I mentioned this was Nadex. Last week we saw a lot of the European session pushing gold down, and then the U.S. session pushing it right back up again. Right now, the European session pushed this up, and then the U.S. session is pushing it back down again. Kind of want to see if that's going to be the case. Um, don't mind the rollover here, but at the same time, I do think that this needs to be a little bit higher. If everybody's going to start locking down again, I think that's only going to increase it. We do have some data later this week, though, that again, it's not the most beneficial for the inflation story. But if they hold off on the tapering aspect of things because things are bad, I don't know. We talked about how everybody's talking about how the recovery's there, but inflation, yada yada yada, delta. I feel like that's going to help. Like I kind of want to find good buying opportunities in gold. So again, not surprised that this kind of pierced through, but I want this to go further. And again, we're still hovering right around that 1800 mark. So I don't know. Again, had you gotten to that knockout, it's not a bad mover, right? Let's see. At its peak, you were two off, and it's about $11 down. So there was a trade there that you could have taken, but yeah, right now I would say it's looking like it wants to push lower, but the question is where are these buyers going to, instead of the buyers all stepping at 1775, will the buyers now start stepping in up here around the 1790 mark? That will give us some good kind of opportunity to the top side. And again, I like that it's one base. I really want this to go higher. I want it to kind of move its channel, like instead of the channel being from like here to here, right? Let's change this into something that's a weird color. I kind of want this channel now to be here. I'm looking for kind of an upper channel to kind of find that stabilization, to kind of jump like 10, $15 higher. I would like 1800 to kind of be the bottom side of it, maybe 1795 ish, maybe where are we at? 1792. maybe there, maybe that's the new bottom. I think that would be awesome because I think the more we flirt around with that 1800, the better off that trade is going to be. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking for right now. Silver. Now, silver's up 2% for the day. So, silver again. This one had its touch. It got unfortunately touched too much. Oops. And there would have been number three. Why do you keep doing that? Right there. And then pulled down and then went higher. So, again, this level is kind of worthless as far as navigating it goes. It had its three touches and its break. I would say the next level is probably sitting up here for decent sells. Although at this point, I don't know if we're going to get all the way up there. Um, Sitting right around 2377. You can see there's a base here. It's kind of a reaction off of that, but I'd much rather take the clean candle. And actually, I guess we can put it here. I mean, I guess we could say there's a little bit of an aggressive there, but I'm okay with that. I actually think silver will peter out quicker. Again, it's up 2% versus the 1% of gold. We expect to see that. If we see the rollover, I think that this one starts to come back much, much quicker, and then we come back down and get to this 2317 level, or 20, I'm sorry, 2311 level. We can make some adjustments on it now, and again, you can see one, two, three hits. Four is what broke. I wish I had a clean entry down there, but it really doesn't. So we can pull this down actually a bit. We'll adjust it slightly because again, we had our four hits to break through it, or three hits and then the break on the fourth. We do have some sellers in there, so I would say this is more of a target. And again, remember this is black because that was a target to the downside. Um, hmm, 8:49. This is a 3 a.m. start. Let's put here. That's a 3 a.m. start. That's probably the target right now. It's probably right there. That's probably your start. Or that's probably your target right now for shorts. Like I said, I do see this one rolling back to the downside. Kind of looking for a bit higher, but it's all right. And again, remember for 1800 in gold is the 24 here, right? It's $24 here. So still got some room to catch up. But again, right now it's a Reddit day. It's a Reddit trading day. So yeah, look for that one to move. Let's go to the indices. Let's drop down to 15 minutes. So indices, look at that. Look at the stabilization around there. So we had the short. We'll take that off from last week. There's our base from before. Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, it looks like we have. I would say that's the last time we had any decent buying come in, and that was about 4 p.m. Right? That's kind of what we're running into right now, and it is 10:30. So, let's see, is there any other headlines today that came out? Pound, Afghanistan. Oh, oh, the evacuation is deadline for troops to withdraw from Afghanistan is just days. I love this when they're like, "Hey, yeah, you guys have a few days to get out, or else." It's like you could say "or else," but do you want us to just start shooting everything back in again? Like we can still mess with like. I hate when people do this. Like it's like, "Hey, we're gonna leave. Just it's not, our mandate is over. Yada yada yada." And then this guy wants to say there'll be consequences. Like, okay, great, give us consequences. We don't have to have troops there to send missiles from halfway around the world. Like, you know, remember the cruise missiles before? They worked really well. Just, come out of the caves and then it's easier to hit, right? Yeah. It's going to be a complete nightmare. We're going to end up going back there or shooting all kinds of stuff into there again. But looks like there's nothing else from as far as headlines go. So I would say right now, again, it is getting close to that 10:30 reversal. We don't necessarily have it there yet on a 15-minute. Is it at risk? Yeah, I would say that it is. I mean, it's basically been straight up. Look, it had all that basing time in there. Europeans and weekend really had nothing to do with it. It does look good. There's really no news to justify it or anything like that. So, I would say there will be some profit taking coming in. This is a potential reversal for that profit taking. And again, I'll kind of mark it in. Whoops. I'll mark it in like an orange is kind of like a precautionary area. Like I said, I'd like a little bit of a confirmation, but if it turns now, would not be surprised in the slightest bit because this tends to be where things will turn. Now we could use this to go higher. Remember, we're at this is right around that 44.50 level. It is a psychological level, being 44. I'm sorry, 44.75. It is in like kind of the quarters theory. It does make sense why it would come to this level and be drawn in. If it breaks through, the next one is 4,500 up. So if we do break through this level, again, look for this on our radar. Right? We are looking for a push higher. And you know what? With everything that's been said, if there's really no major negative news, right? And the next day, that could absolutely be a target for tomorrow. I mean, I guess we could hit it today, but that would be a huge, huge, huge move. Um, Again, I guess Pfizer getting approval definitely will help because now it's kind of like, hey, yeah, there's more people out there. But yeah, I would say look for 4,500 this week. I mean, it's within striking distance. And again, this would only be a kind of a temporary reversal back to the downside. Um, hold on, pulling it up. Let me see here. Um, oops. Um, Yeah, it is pulling. It's pulling back already. It's pulling down a little bit. I just trying to check it because remember I'm delayed here 10 minutes, and I was just trying to see. It looks like on the 5 minutes it has pulled back a little bit. But yeah, so like I said, if we break through 44.76, look for 4,500 today. NQ again, kind of the same thing. This one is broken through, and again, you can see all the basing, the pullback down on this one, and then really just since the U.S. market opened, this one has skyrocketed forward. Um, I would say right now, and we can take this one off and we can move this up to 300. There's our new target for today, right? We don't need this guy anymore. We are going to mark off. Um, that's a tough one. Oops. That is a tough one. Ooh. I was going to say, I mean, there's a level here, although we did not quite get to it. And that's a decent pullback base and pop. But there's going to be like sellers, there's going to be buyers that come in right there too. Going to be two little areas there. I'm good with that one. Hiccup, hiccup through. That was good. We can remove that now. Um, I know most of you guys caught this 50% retracement from last week. Yeah, I would say. And again, you guys know what the problem is. I can't. I got nothing over here. So yeah, I would say right now. I missed 30. I don't need 30. Just go to 15. I would say look for 15. Did you do that to me? 15,300 today. Actually, you know what? Let's mark this off. We're gonna put these next two because, like I said, them holding back. This gives us some good opportunity there. I would say these are our next two targets to the top side. Look for both those two to go up. I'm in with that one. And YM also similar. Next big one on this though is the 35,500. So again, I think this also has some room to run. Let's see, we do have some sellers over here, so it looks like we have some areas that chunk through. I don't know that I would focus on as much. I'll leave it there, but yeah. So here is the next. Let's clean most of these off. Go down. I don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. You can see right there that basing and that drop down. That's going to be the next short level. I don't know if any of the. I mean, I think this middle one is probably the best one. This one I'm not as in love with because it keeps going higher. Hmm. See, that's exactly where we're at right now. Dow is the weakest of the three. Hmm. I think this guy being red right here, I like. You can see it already pushed it. This one has already hit, so I don't think this one's going to last much longer. Because again, it hit it, it dropped all the way down and came back up again. So this one, I believe, is stabilizing. This guy from last week, we don't need anymore. Just trying to get as much stuff off the chart as possible. That 35,000 I need to keep on. question is, what do I want to do with those two? I think watch this level. 10:30 now. Hmm. That's a hard one because we're close to a reversal time. And like I said, there's a level there. It's been hit though. I mean, it's already pulled back again. Um, and again, if I really wanted to kind of like try to like super snipe this level, I mean, you can use the top of the body as well. I typically don't. It's just a little bit more. Go, Millie. Um, where that's where it seems to be ticking. I think a better reversals is 35-35. But if it turns now, I'm not going to be surprised. But I'm not going to get an entry on that one, fortunately. Russell, let's see. Russell's up 138. It's going to be the big mover today. Um, by the way, this is the 50% from last week. There's your 50% from last week. Both those worked out just fine. Kind of just remove all the old stuff back on this one. Those are done. 15. Yeah, it's at a base right now. So what I don't like about this one is this area right here is not super clean. This one's okay. I guess there's a gap right there. We could potentially use that. Um, Actually, it should be just a bit higher. It should be there. So in analyzing this, I guess there's a small. Oh, that's what it hit off of. Hmm. Yeah, that's what it hit off of. It already did its 3-1 on that one. Yeah, that one's already out. So Russell's out. You guys are done on that one. I would say the way Russell's forming, the way that it's coming off that same zone and just hit again, this one does look like it wants to come back down. Looks like targets on this one on the short are going to be down here. Be down to that range. And again, with it reversing right now at kind of this 10:30 mark, it's not a bad level. Probably too late at this point to get into it though. Looking for a 10-minute. And again, parabolic move off the open into a level. Yeah, you can see it's moving. Yeah, we'll see if it pushes right through that one. So yeah, this one's kind of already done. Unfortunately, this one had it reversed at 9:50, and then again the 10:15 is kind of where the next one kind of came in. You would had to been it. And again, the original short you've already gotten out, right? And again, based off of this level of basing and then this punch through. This nice little push to the downside. So yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I said, we've missed this trade. But again, if you're short profit targets, I would say 2180. Watching Jim? Do what? Oh, okay. So yeah, look for the chop. And again, 1040, we're gonna have some movement back and forth. So anything else in there? I do want to highlight natural gas. Natural gas is up 1.38 again, moving pretty decently. I don't need to have this down here. I can just do it on a 30-minute. You can see there was a level up top, and again, it's kind of been pushing down. I would say this one is also again with the lows coming this way. Um, Again, lower, lower, lower. It's starting to establish a trend. I wouldn't be surprised if this one comes back and probably tags this one by later in the week. Look for that one to come down into this level. So again, there's natural gas for you. Um, TLT bonds have turned a little bit negative. All the cryptos are up right now. They were above 50, but they're starting to all pull back again. And again, a lot of that probably has to do more with gold. Um, Kind of gold fighting back and forth again. Dollar index. Dollar index is continuing to drop. Take these and move these higher. To go back and check those. Um, this across to here. So yeah, we got a little bit of ways to go still in the dollar. Dollar weakness is good until we get down to 92.54. Or I'm sorry, 92.95. So got some more room to go in the dollar. But then again, that's a decent turning point. Again, you can see the spike, the base, everything else there looks pretty good. So got a little bit more room to run, and we'll see if the euro, euro dollar, pound dollar, all continuing to rise a bit higher. Okay. All right, so that's it. Let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. It is a fifth. We are doing 50 chips today because again we missed Friday. We're supposed to do 50 chips, so again we're just kind of continuing it forward at this point, playing a little bit of catch up. 9 people in, 12 tickets purchased, and let's go ahead and see who do we got in here. We got Debbie, Marina, Will's in with us too. Will's like, I won. Everything was reset. I'm good. All right, so let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. All right, Will, I believe you won the last one, right? I believe you were the winner on Thursday because we are making fun of how when it broke, you came back. I think. Almost positive that's what happened. So, winner of today's drawing is Marina. Here we go. Look at that. Marina takes another one with one. I'm telling you, she's just smooth and steady. Smooth and steady. She comes in, she grabs, wins the bigger chip things. Look at that. She's 150 behind Will. And now Will's going to be like, man, I wasted those 10 chips. She's getting closer. It's all right, Will. It's all right. So, all right. So with that said, guys, I will catch everybody tomorrow. Like I said, look at this. Dollar CAD is now almost taken over the lead for the day. Until oil stops, it's going to continue to roll. And looking at it tomorrow, there's not really a whole lot there. BOJ CPI, but again, that's not one of those things that are big. German final GDP, final numbers are not as big. Corporate profits tomorrow morning. The leading index, maybe that works out good. Home sales, again, home sales, I would say, is probably more set up for us to be a bit more negative. And then that's it. There's just not a whole lot going on tomorrow as things get ready for Wednesday. So we'll see what we can find. Thank you guys for, again, being good with the everything on Friday. I appreciate the flexibility, being able to not jump in here. I'm glad there was plenty of people looked like they were making money on Friday, so I'm glad that you guys were still able to bank some profits going into the weekend. And last night was great as well. Hopefully tomorrow Melissa's back home again. I'll keep you guys updated. And again, I love that you guys were all asking and stuff like that. And Melissa's like, man, they're so nice. I was like, yeah, my group I got a good group here. So very appreciative of all of you guys for everything you do and things like that. So with that said, I'm out of here. The girl is now hungry in her tummy and she wants to eat. And I got to figure out when Melissa's coming home. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. You guys take care.